Have you ever wondered why some men finish far sooner than they want to, even when everything seems perfectly normal? It is a question many men quietly carry in their minds, yet very few feel comfortable asking out loud. The truth is that finishing too quickly is far more common than most people realize, and it often has nothing to do with weakness, lack of masculinity, or failure. In fact, science shows that the body's response during intimacy is controlled by a complex interaction between the brain, nerves, hormones, and lifestyle habits. When one small part of that system becomes overly sensitive or slightly out of balance, the body can react faster than the mind intends. Many men assume the cause must be something dramatic or irreversible, but in reality, the explanation is often much simpler and more surprising than they expect. According to respected urologist and sexual health expert, Dr. Mohit Khera, one of the most overlooked factors is how the nervous system controls the arousal reflex. The body is designed to respond quickly to stimulation because reproduction is a basic biological drive, and when the brain senses intense excitement, it can trigger the ejaculatory reflex almost instantly. Think of it like a light switch that flips on before you have time to slow it down. For some men, that switch becomes extremely sensitive due to stress, poor sleep, anxiety, or even long periods of anticipation. Over time, the brain begins to associate intimacy with a rapid release of tension, training the body to complete the process faster and faster. This is not a permanent condition, but rather a learned biological pattern. Scientific studies have shown that the sympathetic nervous system, which controls the body's fight or flight response, also plays a major role in ejaculation. When stress levels are high, the body stays in a constant state of alertness, which can accelerate the reflex dramatically. That means something as simple as work pressure, lack of exercise, or too much caffeine can quietly influence performance in ways many men never connect to their intimate lives. What makes this even more interesting is that the brain's reward system releases dopamine and other neurotransmitters during arousal, which intensifies sensation and excitement. When these signals build too quickly, the body moves toward climax before the mind has time to regulate the pace. Understanding this connection is the first step towards solving the issue, because it reveals that the problem is not just physical, but neurological and lifestyle related. Once a man begins to see how daily habits influence his body's response, he can start making small adjustments that gradually restore control and confidence. But here is the surprising part that most men never hear about, and it may completely change the way you understand what is really happening inside your body. What most men never realize is that the body can unknowingly train itself to finish quickly through repeated patterns of arousal and release. Over time, the brain builds a shortcut, a neurological pathway that says excitement must quickly lead to climax. This happens because the nervous system learns through repetition, much like a habit. When stimulation rises rapidly, and the body responds with a fast release again and again, the brain begins to expect that outcome. This is where the hidden cause becomes even more fascinating, because the issue is often not a physical defect, but a reflex that has been conditioned by lifestyle, stress, and emotional pressure. As explained by Dr. Mohit Khera, the ejaculatory reflex is closely connected to the spinal cord and the brain's arousal centers. When stimulation reaches a certain threshold, signals travel through the nervous system like an electrical current, activating muscles and glands that complete the process almost automatically. The surprising part is that this threshold can become extremely low if the body is constantly in a heightened state of excitement or tension. Modern life often pushes men into this state without them realizing it. High stress, constant digital stimulation, poor sleep, and anxiety about performance all increase the sensitivity of the nervous system. The brain begins to react as if every moment of intimacy is urgent, triggering the reflex much faster than it should. Even anticipation alone can raise adrenaline levels, and adrenaline accelerates the same biological pathways involved in climax. That means the body may already be halfway to the finish line before the moment truly begins. Many men believe the solution must be medication or some complicated treatment. But science suggests the nervous system can actually be retrained through simple behavioral adjustments. Slowing down arousal, improving breathing patterns, and strengthening mind-body awareness can gradually raise the threshold at which the reflex activates. Research has also shown that exercise improves blood flow and stabilizes hormone levels, which helps the brain regulate arousal more effectively. Diet plays a role as well, because nutrients like magnesium, zinc, and omega-3 fatty acids support nerve function and hormonal balance. However, there is another layer to this story that creates even more suspense. Hidden beneath the physical reactions is a psychological trigger that many men never consider. The mind constantly monitors pleasure and pressure at the same time. When a man feels intense excitement mixed with the fear of losing control, the brain may rush the process subconsciously just to release the tension. It is a protective response designed by evolution to complete reproduction quickly. Understanding this reveals something powerful. The body is not malfunctioning. It is simply responding to signals it has learned to interpret as urgency. Once those signals begin to change through healthier habits, calmer breathing, and a more relaxed mindset, the nervous system can slowly reset itself. And when that reset begins, something remarkable starts to happen inside the body. Control, confidence, and endurance often return in ways that feel almost effortless. When the nervous system begins to reset and the body no longer feels rushed by hidden signals of urgency, many men discover that control is not something mysterious or unreachable, but something that can be rebuilt step by step. The human body is remarkably adaptable, and the same brain that once learned a rapid reflex can learn a calmer and more balanced response. One of the most powerful changes begins with slowing down the rhythm of arousal itself. Instead of allowing excitement to spike quickly, men who develop greater awareness of their breathing and body sensations can guide the nervous system toward a steadier pace. Deep, controlled breathing sends a message to the brain that the body is safe and relaxed, lowering adrenaline and reducing the overactive reflex that triggers an early climax. Regular physical exercise also plays a surprising role in restoring balance. Activities such as walking, resistance training, and cardiovascular workouts improve circulation and stabilize testosterone levels, both of which support healthier sexual function. When the body moves regularly, stress hormones decline, and the brain becomes less reactive to stimulation. Nutrition quietly contributes as well. A diet rich in vegetables, lean proteins, healthy fats, and minerals helps the nervous system communicate more smoothly, strengthening the pathways that allow the brain to maintain control during moments of excitement. Sleep is another critical factor that many men underestimate. When sleep is poor, the brain becomes more impulsive and less capable of regulating reflexes. Restorative sleep helps rebalance dopamine and serotonin, the same neurotransmitters that shape mood, focus, and arousal. As these systems stabilize, the body gradually learns to respond with patience instead of urgency. Experts like Dr. Mohit Khera often emphasize that confidence grows when men stop viewing the issue as a failure and instead treat it as a biological pattern that can be adjusted. That shift in perspective alone reduces anxiety, which is one of the most powerful triggers behind rapid ejaculation. When pressure fades, the brain stops interpreting intimacy as a stressful performance and begins experiencing it as a natural connection again. Over time, small lifestyle improvements combine to create a larger transformation. Breathing becomes calmer, nerves become less sensitive, and the mind regains the ability to slow the pace of pleasure instead of being carried away by it. The most encouraging part is that these changes rarely require extreme measures. Consistency in daily habits often produces results that medication alone cannot achieve, because the root cause lies in how the nervous system responds to stimulation. When men understand this hidden mechanism, they begin to see that their body has never been working against them. It has simply been following signals that can be reshaped through awareness, patience, and healthier living. If you are benefiting from our topics, please subscribe, like, and turn on the bell notification so you can see our new videos early.